There's some drug out there that doctors are using to treat people who come up with the coronavirus. Now, I've read it several times, but keep in mind, I have almost 3 years of community college credits, and I don't know how to say this word. It's it's something to that effect. Long story short, doctors are using it. I'm not a doctor. I don't know what the science is behind it. I do know for a fact that friends of mine are talking to top doctors in New York City who are using it as we speak on patients and praising it and saying they would use it on themselves if they got sick. That's pretty strong evidence to me. Here's the big boss talking about it.
A drug called chloroquine, and some people would add to it hydroxychloroquine. So chloroquine or hydroxychloroquine. Now, this is a common malaria drug. It's also a drug used for strong arthritis. Somebody has pretty serious arthritis. Also uses this in a somewhat different form. But it is known as a malaria drug, and it's been around for a long time, and it's very powerful. But the nice part is it's been around for a long time. So we know that if things don't go as planned, it's not going to kill anybody. When you go with a brand new drug, you don't know that that's going to happen. You have to see, and you have to go long test. But this has been used in different forms, very powerful drug in different forms. And it's shown very encouraging, very, very encouraging early results. And we're going to be able to make that drug available almost immediately. And that's where the FDA has been so great.
That is outstanding news. Again, I don't know anything about drugs. Well, I mean, not these kind of drugs. I'll quit. We can make jokes on the show. I don't know anything about this. It sounds great. Like I said, when doctors are praising it, it sounds great. I know people are using it, but I will just say this. Whether it's this drug or something else, or some new treatment or some new vaccine, let us not forget, the American people will beat this thing. And I'm not doing some rah-rah speech for you here. I've said this all along, and I believe it. We will get our arms around it and figure out how to beat it. We always do, don't we? Here's the doctor talking about it.
What we're finding clinically with our patients is that it really only works in conjunction with zinc. So the hydroxychloroquine opens the zinc channel, zinc goes into the cell, it then blocks the replication of the cellular machinery. So it has to be used in conjunction with zinc. We are seeing some clinical responses in that regard. There are people that take it regularly for other disease processes. We have to be cautious and mindful that we don't prescribe it for patients who have COVID that are well. It really should be reserved for people that are really sick in the hospital or at home very sick that need that medication. Otherwise, we're going to blow through our supply for the patients that take it regularly for other disease processes.
But what you're saying is you're prescribing it and it is working for COVID-19 patients.
Every patient I've prescribed it to has been very, very ill. And within 8 to 12 hours, they were basically symptom-free. And so clinically, I am seeing a resolution that mirrors what we saw in the French study and some of the other studies worldwide. But what I am seeing is that people that are taking it alone by itself, it's not having efficacy.
That is encouraging. And I don't know what a lot of those big words meant, but that sounds to me like we're finding a solution, and that is freaking awesome. I think we can all agree that everybody will be thrilled about that, except the American media. Here's CNN.
We'll hope. Yes, please.
Mr. President, but the doctors who are treating coronavirus patients, they have the medical expertise to determine whether or not they should prescribe hydroxychloroquine.
And many of them
And
do.
there are already clinical trials in place looking at hydroxychloroquine.
Sure.
So
They should be finished in about a year.
Why not just let the science speak for itself? Why are you promoting this drug?
I'm not. I'm just
You
saying
come
very
out here-
simply, I'm not at all. I'm not. Look, you know what I'm trying to do? I'm
Well,
trying
you
to save
come out here
lives.
every day, right, sir, talking about the benefits of
I
hydroxychloroquine.
want them to try it, and it may work and it may not work. But if it doesn't work, it's nothing lost by doing it, nothing. Because we know long-term what I want to save lives. And I don't want it to be in a lab for the next year and a half as people are dying all over the
It's already
place.
out there. Doctors are already able to prescribe it
That's
off-label,
right. All I'm doing
So what
is
do you
saying,
accomplish?
well, I'll tell you what I accomplished. We bought massive amounts of it, 29 million doses of it. We have it coming from all of the labs. We're actually now doing it here because in case it does work, we want to have it. And we've given it to drugstores. We're sending it all over. FEMA's doing it. FEMA's doing it. We're doing it through different channels, many different channels, including the companies that make it. It's a very special thing. Now, it may not work, in which case, hey, it didn't work. And it may work, in which case it's going to save a lot of lives. Now, a lot of people say if the people walking in prior to getting it, if they take it, it has a profound effect. Well, maybe it does, and maybe it doesn't. I don't want to wait a year and a half to find out. And only CNN would ask that question. Fake news. Go ahead.
He's right. Do they understand how that makes the press look? How can they constantly walk into the same rakes over and over and over again? We have encouraging news. Just because the news comes out of Trump's mouth and you hate him doesn't make it less encouraging. We have a potential drug that is plentiful, that we know about, that is saving lives. According to doctors, it's saving lives. And you're rooting against it just because Trump said it. That you ran into the same thing. Remember when that idiot Soleimani got killed, when we blew him up in Iraq? And all of a sudden the press was over there and they're talking about how he's a martyr and how he didn't deserve this and how it's a dangerous escalation and everything else. No matter what, they will oppose anything Donald Trump does, and it makes them look terrible. Look, he's a big boy. He's the president of the United States. He can handle it. I'm not worried about his feelings. I am worried about the fact the American media is so lacking in self-awareness that they will defend or they will oppose anything Donald Trump is for. When you get to that point, you make yourself look stupid and you make yourself look anti-American a lot. Hey, thanks so much for watching The First on YouTube. If you liked what you saw, go ahead and like and subscribe. You heard me. Like it, subscribe. You'll get a lot more of it and a lot more of me.